And welcome back. We are now part 4 of New Comics, bitches! For the final week of April. Again, we left off, we were talking about FF number 2, Hickman and Epting doing their run at the Future Foundation, and guess who's back? This guy right here. And guess what he's been offered? A spot on the Future Foundation by Reed and Sue's daughter Valeria, who is the super genius kid, and of course this really rubs Ben Grimm the wrong way. Because he does, he has some bad things to say about the Thing and how he watched Johnny Storm die. But Sue eventually kind of helps calm him down. Basically, what's going on here, which is is that Victor Von Doom, he is, Doom. Now, this is something I didn't know. He has suffered, some pretty major brain damage, and they want to help return him to his previous state. Why? We're not entirely sure. But why do we think that it would be a good idea to restore megalomaniac to his former self? Well, I mean, I'm assuming, if he's offering, if he's saying that he's going to be aboard with the Future Foundation, that means he's going to actually use his intellect for something good. Now, this has to do with kind of his adopted son, in which he basically downloaded, some of his personality and some of his memories into this this child's brain. Valeria, being the little genius that she is, she kind of knows what she's doing, but Reed, even though he's, being helped out by his dad, Nathaniel, kind of guided in, possibly the right or wrong direction, because the idea is, while Doom is kind of strapped to this table to get, some of his memories downloaded back from his son, Reed kind of hesitates to start this, and actually has the idea to almost essentially kind of lobotomize Dr. Doom. The better or worse angels of his nature, perhaps, we don't know which, do take over, and he decides to go ahead with the transfer as opposed to purging his brain. And that leads to a really big reveal, of why exactly Doom is there. So, I'm really on board with FF right now. I didn't think that I would say that perhaps really ever about the FF, but I'm just liking what they're doing right now. It's really interesting. It's very science-minded. It seems, it's very smart. There's a lot of intelligent writing going on here. So I like where they're going. I love Steve Epting's art, always. So I'll continue with it. So we're going to go to the book of the week now. So I know you've been extremely patient, so we're going to finally get to it. And that is the finale, Brightest Day, number 24. I'm very sad to see this book come to an end. I was hoping that it would continue a lot longer, because since it really ramped up about 10 issues ago, I mean, it's something that I've been following with a lot of interest since it first started, but it really started to ramp up about 10 issues ago. And it's been a fascinating ride the whole way. And you know what? I'm not even going to get into any particular plot point of this comic. I'm just going to simply say, if you've not been into Brightest Day, I don't have too much to tell you about the peripheral stories. I've read some of what's been going on with Birds of Prey. I want to read more of that. I'm looking into getting some trades of that. I've been reading some of Generation Lost. That's an interesting tale. But aside from that, I have been reading the peripheral stories. I've just really been reading Brightest Day, and it's been interesting the whole way through. But like I said, it's gotten so incredibly awesome. This is definitely gonna go up there with best issues of the year. Quite honestly, like I said, for those of you who are out there who are not into Brightest Day, get the original trade and the trade for this, which I'm sure is going to be coming out within the next month or so. Get that, especially if you've been, if you followed comics if you followed certain comics in the 80s, or if you followed any of Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, you're going to be really interested to see what's going on here, because as you can see from, that's where as I was, kind of geekgasming all over the issue 23, it was because of the return of Swamp Thing and the I don't know, not necessarily, the crossing over of Swamp Thing into regular DC continuity. Because we've seen that happen already. We saw it with Death, came from Sandman and ended up in Action Comics. And now we're seeing that with, well, let's say at least one more really huge surprise. And it's a glorious final issue. A great send-off. I am dying to see where they're going to go from here. So I'm going to have to check like advanced solicits, see what new comics are going to come out of Brightest Day, if any, because they have to be, because where they leave it is just, it's too it's too awesome, man. This can't be the end for some of these characters. There's got to be more going on here. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for that. Like I said, me just talking about what goes on in it, it's not enough to do it justice, because it's just that good. It's such an excellent issue. It's going to be up there with I think the quote unquote kind of silent issue of Spider-Man, of Amazing Spider-Man this year. Thus far this year, as far as great comic, I mean, really great standout comics are concerned, and some of the, and I think 2 issues ago of Detective, where it was mostly Jim Gordon and his son. Those have been, these have been the best comics of the year so far, I would say, as far as single issues are concerned. So anyway, so that's it for new comics, with the exception of the upcoming review. Well, not review so much as a discussion, a monologue, really, I guess, since it's only me talking about it. But my take on Action Comics 900, because those of you who live in the United States, and those of you like, hey, Comic Noob, how you doing? My pal Comic Noob, he follows me. Follow him. He's kind of a noob, but he's got some great ideas, and he introduced me to Morning Glory. So thank you for that, sir. I still owe you a pint. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm out of here. Have a good one. Check out